So good afternoon, everyone. So now it's the time to introduce the speakers of the day. We have with us Professor Sami Anand, Assistant Dean and Assistant Professor, Head of the Department Training and Placement, Lovely Professional University. A person with a demonstrated history of working in education management industry, skilled in cloud computing, process automation, mobile application development, student skill development, planner, programming, lecturing, and curriculum development. So a whole lot of experience with him. I welcome you, sir. We also have with us Ms. Shefali Datta, Program Coordinator and Student Advisor, North and East India, IBM Career Education. She is having an experience of 10 years as a program coordinator and manager operations. She has been working as a business consultant for education industry for more than 4 years. I welcome you, madam. We have with us Mr. Pankaj Vij, Head Department of Tie-Ups, Division of Admissions, LPU. He holds a master's degree in management and keen area of interest in training and development, having over 19 years of experience in multiple domains, including teaching, training, and operations. He's the appropriate person to talk about scholarship and eligibility. So it's now over to Professor Sami Anand for content of the day. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the, I would say, humble introduction for me and for everyone who's a part of the panel today. So students, why we are here, let's understand the point. All of you have, already seen the topic for the day, that is scope of big data and analytics. Now, what should you expect from this webinar, and how should you structure the information that is coming through? So whatever I talk to students, I tell them that the biggest part that you need to work on is how to gather and how to structure the information that you are getting from a faculty during a lecture or a class. In the same way, in this webinar, you're getting a lot of information about big data and analytics. You need to structure that information to properly process it and have a decision on that. Now, obviously, you'll be getting to know about what is big data, analytics. Most of you might be knowing, but the connection between big data and analytics and how these things work together. You'll be getting all of this. So first, you need to understand what is big data, what is analytics involved in that, what are the skills required for someone to be in the field of big data and analytics. That's what is the most important thing that you should acquire from this presentation, which Shefali, who's with me, will be given after I transfer the rights to her. So you will be talking about understanding about big data as well as the skills required in the big data arena. That's what is most important for you to understand. Then, are you the right fit for that skill? That's what it's up to you to decide. And if you think that yes, you are the right fit for that skill, then we'll be telling you that how we will be providing you the curriculum which would suit you to get advanced or get ahead in this particular domain. So 3 things which is very clearly you need to understand: what is big data, how is analytics related to it, what kind of skills are required in big data and analytics. So with skills, you'll be able to understand what your job roles and things that are suited to it. And at the end, do you suit this particular profile? If yes, what we have in store is you can understand that very easily, and we will let you know that just after this first presentation. Over to you, Shefali. She would be guiding you through the technicality part and discussing about big data and analytics and all the things I talked about. Then I'll summarize and get back to you, all of you. Shefali, I'm transferring the rights to you.
Thank you, Sami.
I think so. You should have the rights now. Over to you,
yes,
Shefali.
just give me a moment. Yeah, thank you. Is my screen visible?
I think you need to share it. It was visible, but now
Okay,
it's not.
I'll just re-click. Is it visible now? Thank you.
Please, you need to run the slide.
Yeah, just confirm me if the slides are getting changed and are visible.
Yes, it's it's getting changed, it's coming properly.
Fine, thank you. Thanks, Amy, for the introduction, and thank you, Professor Rishi, for having me here today. Good morning, everyone. You can feel free to drop a note in the chat window available on your screen. As it was introduced to you already, that I work with IBM as a program coordinator and student advisor. And it's been over, in fact, 10 years I'm associated with the shift happening in technology. So I know the days when we have been talking about website development, and the days when we started talking about cloud as a technology, and the day we are in when we are talking about multiple technologies including analytics, AI, blockchain, etc. So I am the evident of the changes which had happened, and I can share with you that how each and every technology is interlinked. Because most of the time, our question which comes in our mind, that is that if I choose one particular technology as a career, what if that technology get obsolete? So in today's forum, you will understand that what will be the evergreen scope for each technology, and whether it will get obsolete or not, so that it comes for you easily to draw a mapping about your career. Because right now we are going to define a path which will be on demand after 4 years, because you will be planning to pursue your career in the field of engineering. Once you do that, you have to commit yourself for 4 years. So our focus here to be that what will be in demand down the line after 2024, 2025. So today we'll be sharing that ahead. Before we begin, let me just tell you why IBM and LPU have collaborated with each other. Because you know that there is a huge gap happening between industry and academia. You may be evident of because of your siblings or maybe your seniors, etc., that many are there who are holding degree but are unable to fetch the right kind of job. I'm not saying that they are unable to get a job, but the kind of job they are seeking for, or the kind of profile they are looking for, very rare folks they get job these days. Because only holding a degree is not sufficient. One has to do something extraordinary. Similar as holding a smartphone is not sufficient, you should also know that how that applications are being created. Whereas most of the people, they start saying that industries have no jobs available. But you would be knowing, even during this COVID pandemic time, what has survived most is IT. And automation is being adopted everywhere, even like never before. Because every organization across sectors, they realize that if there is no technology, there is no future or identity within their own organization and within the own tasks they perform in day-to-day life. So if they are to be ahead in the market and they are to compete with the kind of competition they face on day-to-day life, they are to adopt technology. So what our employer says these days, and what they look for, that in future they would want you to do something which a robot cannot do. So it is a quotation stating that if you will just focus on practicing handwriting and you will focus on learning multiplication table, then you won't get future job. Because right now we have seen people struggling a lot get the right kind of job. But going forward after 4 years, the view and prospect of employers will change drastically. So this associations enables you to bridge the gap between industry and academia, because it comes directly from a tech giant which is IBM, who is involved in bringing this innovation in the market, will be enabling you to be ready for the kind of jobs which are available right now, but you hear a little about it. But going forward after 3 or 4 years, you'll start hearing noise about it. And by the time also, we will have very selective thousands who will be produced and skilled to work in that particular profiles. And you will be the one who will be at that point of time at a position of a manager or a team leader, because at that time the entire world will awake and they will start making such things as mandatory. But by the time, you will be on a mode to negotiate for a package, because you will be the only one who would be knowing how that technology functions. So this is an attempt of IBM, and we thank even LPO for understanding the relevance of these technology and the relevance of the kind of jobs which these kind of technologies are bringing to the market going forward. So you all would have heard about IBM already and would be knowing that IBM is a multinational company, but still I would like to summarize it shortly so that you get to know the kind of prospects you are going to draw when you choose a degree program which is integrated between IBM and LPU. So IBM was founded in the year 1911. It's 110 years old organization, and IBM has presence over 177 countries with offices over 800 worldwide. So when it comes to companies which are using IBM technology, that are some of TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, Cognizant, Emerson, Capgemini, Apple, KFC, KPMG, Lenovo, etc. So all in all, if we calculate in the world, there are lakhs of companies which are using IBM technology. IBM works as business to business, stands for International Business Machine, have given some of the technologies to you which you are using in day-to-day life, such as computer. You book ticket through IRCTC, they use IBM database and server. Similarly, you do RTGS and NEFT fund transfer system. In that, Reserve Bank of India made it mandatory for banks to use IBM software, which cost around 6 crore rupees if they want to facilitate their customer with the facility of NEFT and RTGS. Similarly, you study a relational database was introduced by IBM. First programming language, which was Fortran, that was also by IBM. IBM helped Bill Gates to get a licensing of its first DOS, which was MS-DOS in 1970s. And similarly, WhatsApp, which you are using in day-to-day life, was being hosted on IBM Cloud Platform. Now, Facebook has decided to integrate Facebook and WhatsApp. Then the migration between WhatsApp and Facebook started happening. Similarly, wherever you go, you generally do transactions using ATM machines. So ATM machines are also invented by IBM. You see a black color magnetic strip at the backside of debit and credit card that stores our data. So that is also introduced by IBM. Like that, there are so many innovations of IBM. So currently, IBM holds 40,000 active patents, for which IBM receives royalty on yearly basis. Is the organization which has registered maximum patent in the world. So this is where IBM stands for. But only working on technology, only working for business is not a solution. From where the skilled manpower will be produced, that is from the academic institution. So this is IBM step forward, bringing those technologies as a part of the academia, so that students get the same look and feel of the technology which they are going to address or work upon when they join industry. So this association does not only limit you for job within IBM, but all those organizations which are adopting automation or which have adopted automation, you will be eligible to work there and will be always ahead than a general degree holder. And why are we here today? Why we all talk about analytics, big data, that data is increasing, etc. Because if we talk about every day, we generate a mind-boggling quantity of data, which is 2.5 Fulton byte of data. Now, when we talk about this data, you would be evident again. Had internet not been there during this COVID situation, the world would have been destroyed. Many people lost their job after this lockdown was declared, but many were able to sustain the job because of internet. In fact, those who were not that savvy or literate enough to access internet, they also gelled themselves up because they had no other option. So if we talk about that 1.5 year span of time, the usage of internet has increased a lot, and dependency of people on the applications have also increased, so as the data. So as the world is generating 2.5 Fulton byte of data every day, it works as a potential gold mine for the organization. Earlier, companies were confused on what to do with this data, but they realized that if they will have softwares which can find insightful information from the data, they can win on the heart of the clients, they can win the heart of the employees. And this is where the story started beginning. So for now, if we say how information work, which is coming through these applications, because we all are dependent on phone is our friend for lifetime. So since we are dependent on phone, gadgets, and internet for that matter, what we are generating for the organization, that is information, which works as a oil for 21st century. Whereas when the entire world talk about data science, analytics, AI, machine learning, that works as the combustion engine. So this is a short line theory of how analytics and information work and appreciate each other. So if you see in the next slide, you would find that the trend has changed. Your parents would be even telling you that you are not socialized, though online you would have many friends over social platform, but you actually do not like talking too much to relatives, gelling up with neighbors, etc. So if we see here, you would find that we are depriving in respect to our lifestyle, outdoor game, personalized time, photography, and sports. And what has taken an inclination, that is news and magazine. We do not rely on the news which we see over television, but we trust on the news which we see over an application which is based on your phone. Similarly, utility and productivity businesses are happening over phone. Who had ever thought that we need not to even go to banks these days and we can do investment wherever we want to do, because everything is coming at one platform via app. Similarly, a small room can be converted to a home theater or can be converted to a party hall. You can play from a super oldest song to super latest song. Earlier people had reservation about shopping, but now they are very free to do e-commerce shopping. I have seen people even buying gadget, but there were earlier if and but when it was being actually introduced. And who had ever thought that the cab will come to our doorstep? I remember those days, if I had to rush early in the morning, I was knowing that how much struggle I had to do to get a private taxi or maybe a auto for that matter. And similarly, Zomato and Swiggy are also bringing data, also bringing food to us based on our orders, and are putting all the restaurant in one platform so that we can choose the cuisine we want to have. But what these all applications are actually bringing in, as people are tilting more towards using these applications, companies are having again what? Data. Since they have a data and it is not manually possible for a human being to churn this data to find insightful information from this data, what the organization look for are the softwares. So what we do is we introduce you to all enterprise software through which these organizations actually predict that what will be your next move. For an instance, if I'm placing order over Zomato 12 to 3, between 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Now I had stopped placing order for about a week or 4 5 days. What they have done, their analyst has understood my trend that I usually place order from 12 to 3. They understand the kind of cuisine I order and they give me offer, which may be a miss you coupon or which may be any coupon which attracts me to reuse their application. So this is how they get me back, because they have got to know my taste, they got to know my buying pattern, and they got to know the trends. Similarly, if you open Paytm, you would understand they will create a pie chart for you where actually you spend in a month. You would be even not knowing where you have spent, but they will tell you for food ordering how much you spend, for telecom how much you spend, for booking how much you spend, and everything pattern is being drawn. And these applications to exist and ensure that the existing user stays with them and they enable more number of users. What they use that data to form strategies. And as I told you, since it's not humanly possible to do that, companies need high-end software which starts from 5 6 lakhs rupees and goes till crore. But the question lies that how a undergrad will be able to expose to those software which are actually used by industry. And here when I'm taking example of Uber, Ola, Zomato, Swiggy, I'm not here talking about IT right now. IT is doing a lot of work beyond that, but these companies are not IT but still seeking for people who can actually tell them where they are going wrong and right, so that they exist for longer run. And this is where the task and job of analyst starts. Earlier, because there was no technology called as cloud computing, under which we used to have a data. Now you know that everything is being stored these days. Again, very basic example is your drives, but the emails which you exchange, for that you do not let your RAM to be consumed, you do not let your hard drive to be consumed. You can log in even using my system if you remember your password and ID, and you can exchange mail, and the time you sign out, there's nothing visible there. But who is providing that space to us? If you're using Gmail account, then Google is letting their server to issue a 15 GB of space or 10 GB of space to you to ensure that you are able to exchange communication and mails. And if that space gets consumed, you can then resubscribe to additional space. So this is where cloud computing as a technology eventually started helping people to think like never before. That's why many startup came in picture. Earlier, it was not possible for anybody to start an organization because they are to invest huge in infrastructure. By infra, I mean softwares. By infra, I mean servers, etc. But cloud computing technology made it easy. Now, anybody who wish to start their own firm, they can do that with the help of taking support of softwares, server space, and everything from a cloud vendor, which may be IBM, which may be Amazon, which can be Google, or can be anybody based on the enterprise requirement. And seamlessly, you can start working over it provided you have internet. Since this cloud computing, which drives from the Badal, which we talk about, a normal Badal which stores water, this cloud stores data. Now, when we talk about cloud computing or cloud application, it stores data. Now, since companies have historical data also in place, they started realizing, what if we analyze this data? Then we can make wonders out of it. We can increase our sales, we can understand customer sentiments, and we can make them happy, and we can draw value. I'll cover that, what value actually stands for any of the organization. So even if people who are undergoing MBA or looking forward to be at manager position, they should also know HR analytics. Someone is looking to be a head in marketing, they also should know marketing analytics. And someone who is looking forward to be a finance head, they should also know financial analytics, because it has become very important for organization to understand the structure. Since organizations are getting automated, there is someone at back end required to tell them where they are going wrong. And whenever any artificial intelligence application even is being made, how the decision we take, what kind of AI based application to be made from the data, we understand what our customer want, and based on that we automate the system so that the customer's first phase of interaction happen through a technology. They need not to directly hooked or with a employee or with the customer care executive, etc. Like you would have seen, whenever you call a customer care executive, they generally say that your call is being recorded for quality purpose. So they are just not recording it for the purpose of checking quality of the kind of support customer care executive gives, but they are also analyzing the kind of customer queries comes, and they think that what if we can automate some of the queries which are common and let the AI based intelligent system to address that. So analytics and AI also work all together. And going forward, if there will be more of technology in place, then eventually data is going to increase. For an instance, I'll just take on very lighter note, that when we were using way back Google Assistant, people used to say, and they used to do prank with Google Assistant saying, hey, will you go on date with me? It used to say, I love you. Will you be my friend? But at that time, Google Assistant used to say, sorry, I didn't get you. Sorry, I'm not able to understand the question. Like that. But now what you hear, if you say, will you go on date with me? It says, sorry, I'm busy, you can proceed. How and who is actually adding answers to it? A person looking at backend, the kind of client experience, the person looking at backend, what kind of questions being asked by a client, and how we can make our application to be more client friendly. And based on that, who is even doing analyst? So that's why we say a job of analyst will remain evergreen until we decide to stop using technology. Then you may call it that there will be no identity of analyst. But as we grow, and as you would have seen that in the previous slide, there was a statement saying that 6% will be increase in the usage of smart devices every year. So as will be the demand for analysts. So in future, we are going to get flood of data, and we would need people to find insightful information from our data. So going forward, it will be huge because the entire nation is working and moving toward digitization. So every company, even you look for a job in government sector, you look for a job in private or semi-government and private or overseas, you will get always opportunity around as an analyst, which is again distributed into various components and part. But again, there's a say that nobody can be expert in a technology in 3 or 4 months. thinking that you will undergo a course sometime and you get expertise. That is not possible. You need to know the prerequisite, that is a foundation of that technology, like I told you, cloud. Similarly, you should know that after that intermediate level of knowledge, that is, if you are required to know a programming language, you will be taught that. Then you will be working on cloud, you will be then working on data visualization, then analytics, and then you'll be exposed finally on AI and machine learning. So it is an entire cycle. Then you can claim yourself to be professional, and nobody will be there uh, to compete with you, and nobody will be there to question on your skills. So that cycle can be only balanced if you are being imbibed with those skills from day one. So this is what we have done with LPU, with their expertise of knowledge and IBM bringing industry knowledge into place. We have designed the curriculum in such a fashion that you undergo all the niche and steps which are required for you to set a pillar, and then we create your intermediate and advanced learning and convert it into a research in that technology, so that you can claim yourself to be professional in that particular domain. And why we are doing that? So if you see here, as I told you, that your focus to be what will be on demand after 4 or 5 years. So if you see, by 2025 there are expected to be 80 billion connected devices. 21 billion devices will be connected over internet, and if it will be over internet, then it is going to generate 30% of data which the world will generate by 2025. That will be real time. By real time, we mean that will come with a blink of your eye. That means, as an analyst, I have done my analysis, I have come to a position to present that, and by the time I will have some data in place which might change my decision. So this much abundant amount of data it is going to be. Some of the evidence are there in front of you already, that you know that Uber is not too old, but it has 93 million customer base and 3.5 million driver, which serves to the customer requirement. Facebook, you all are very well aware of. It generates 4 petabyte of new data daily, and 1.5 billion are the active users. Similarly, Swiggy, you all are familiar with. Average order which are being placed on Swiggy every day are 1.45 million. How do they manage that potential customers and again retain a new customer or a customer who has stopped placing order? So for all these practices, they require people who knows analytics and who works on analytics. So after analyzing this all, for every organization, what is most important and what this kind of big data uh, actually manages, that is profit, which is a monetary benefit. Second is medical and social benefit. If the employees of the company or the customers will be medically and socially benefited, then there will be huge inclination towards using that application. And third is personal satisfaction. No matter X bank is giving me more interest rate, even the bank facility which I am using is not giving me good interest rate, but my personal satisfaction is there, my experience with that application is good, I will not switch. So every customer looks for three things. The most important is personal satisfaction. So after churning this all data, what we draw, the fifth V, which called as value, which stands for monetary benefit, medical and social benefits, and third is personal satisfaction. If the client will be personally satisfied, then the client will not go anywhere. Even similar is the case for employees. If you plan to be a HR going forward, and if your employees are personally satisfied, then salary does matter up to extent, but they will not negotiate or disturb you, because they are happy personally with the atmosphere and the ecosystem created by the organization. This is one of the example how Uber use real-time data, which we were talking that 30% of data will be generated real time after 4 years from now. So you would be evident that when you go from one place to another through Uber, and maybe same place multiple times, the fear changes. So let's say if you are standing at a place which is crowded and you are to rush maybe for an appointment meeting, or just you have to travel, then you should land up paying twice of the amount. Why? Because they have analyzed that the place is crowded, people will eventually avail for the cab, and basis on which they have taken a decision to increase the prices. This is where we work on prescriptive analytics, that is big data analytics. For an instance, if you have ever booked airplane ticket, you would have also seen that the fare of air also changes. So how the fare changes of plane based on the users looking for that flight, based on to touch your fear that you're going to miss that flight at that particular cost, and based on the flights which are already booked but are 40 to 50% occupied. So in any case, the plane is going to take off. So what if the flight gets entirely full? So basis on that, the price keep on changing. So they also use real-time data, real-time sources, that how many people are looking to book a flight maybe from Delhi to Mumbai. Basis on that, the price changes. So this is where real-time data footprints are being used. Similarly, when we talk about Netflix, it gives us recommendation based on our previous views. Similar YouTube does, and similar it happens in the case of Prime videos, etc. Because who has time to scroll? Even I don't know what kind of series I like, but it keeps on suggesting me, and sometimes I get astonished. How they use is they work on business intelligence tool, they work on AI based tool. So this is also part of data analytics. You are also going to undergo that how descriptive analytic work, which describes what happened in the past, and based on that it start recommending. So as I told you, that when you hear a term big data analytic, doesn't mean you are only going to work in big data analytics, but you're going to learn all the layer of technologies which are essential to call yourself as an expert in that particular domain and technology. And what as in IBM we bring to you a lab which is set up at LPU, and also we are going to give you access to enterprise softwares and resources using LPU domain ID. Each one of you will have access to all enterprise softwares available on the portal, and you can seamlessly install it on your system. Each software starts from 4 lakhs rupees. You will be given free of cost access for the period of your degree program. Second, beyond academia, you would have heard about Coursera, Udemy, Simply Learn, like portals. They are also having IBM courses onboarded on their portal. But all that course access will be enabled for you free of cost through IBM Learning Management System, which will be deployed for LPU. Using that particular portal, you can access the course material beyond academia. Let's say you want to do a course on ethical hacking or cyber security. Since IBM is also an organization which is working on enterprise security management, you can use their softwares like QRadar, AppScan, security and access management, and you can also become efficient in that particular area. And such access will be enabled to you free of cost. And when you complete that self-paced courses, you will be also awarded a co-branded certificate which will be issued by IBM, country head, and LPU. Similarly, there will be learning path defined from you. As I told you, prerequisite till your advanced learning will be met. Next is IBM Digital Badges. Now in India, we always say, "Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai." And since we are turning to digitization these days, what is most important? You not to be just dependent on the placement drive being conducted by the campus or what IBM brings to you. You can also upscale and sell your skills, and that can only happen if you will have some credentials available. So some of the courses are linked with certification and certificates, like you see downwards. These kind of badges you will be eligible to, and these are valid worldwide. This can be shared over social media. You can embed in resume, you can make it a part of email signature. So this will make your profile visible and effective, and this is how you will be able to sell your skills, and employers will start taking interest in your profile. And the foremost is IBM experts will come in the campus from semester 1, and they will deliver the courses to you. So it is a blended learning mode course. One is the faculty of LP will be taking care of the subjects, and at least 2 subjects in each semester will be delivered by industry experts. So same look and feel of industry you are going to get in the campus, and it is again with attached to me various hackathon, call for code, industry visit to IBM attached to it. So on this note, I would like to put it over Sammy to share the thoughts and discussion to take it further on IBM behalf and help you about the intent of launching this program and further. to it.
Thank you very much, Shefali, for such a beautiful session and giving these details to the students, which they would need to, decide on this particular program. If you can share me the rights, I'll just brief it to the students what you discussed, and then I can discuss about the program benefits to them.
I'm passing on the rights. You have the access.
Yes. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you. So guys, whatever Shefali discussed, and I'll be discussing the same in very brief manner. So you have understood what's big data, where its applications are, and how it works. So just let's have a brief recap of the same. So what applications of big data are there? If I talk about three major ones which are there currently, and at a very big scale, there's big data for financial services, big data in communications, and big data for retail. So there's a purpose I would have written that with very small, and the other parts on a bigger font. The reason is because whatever you do in these four would be a part of it. Either it comes at financials, communications, or retail. So you would have to do customer analytics and all. So you need to be aware about that. You need to be aware about compliance analytics. You need to be aware about fraud analytics and operational analytics. So these are the key pillars which you need to be, very much aware about when it comes to big data. And then you can apply any of these in whichever field you are, in either financial, communication, retail, or any other. Now, these are the major application areas, and if you see the sectors which are coming in the next, I would say, few years, you see the communication is going to grow. We're going from 4G to 5G, then there would be another upscale to that. Then retails are growing day by day. Financial services, e-commerce, online, all of this are growing. So this analytics is what would be the next big thing, because in some or the other way, data is the new oxygen, as we talk about, either in terms of being usage or being generating data, both ways. Now, what are the skills required? That is the brief from what Shefali said. So you would be needing analytical skills, you would be needing creativity, you would be needing computer science, and you would need business skills. So business skills would be the basic idea about the sector that you are into. Computer science, the complete logic of computer science that would be there, which obviously is a part of the program that you're going to get into. Creativity, just to bring in those ideas and newness into things, into analysis and all, and obviously the analytical skills, because it is big data and analytics, that would be very, very much important. Now, if I talk about the program, how does the program covers all of this? If you look at the subjects and the mode in which we are delivering it, and in the third column, you are getting 6 certifications there. So you will be doing a course of analytics for all. You'll be doing planning analytics. You'll be doing big data analytics. So you can see a lot of analytical course, because that's what is more important, not a part of the program that you need to understand. And similarly, the other computer science course, as it was there, computer science course. So if you look at those, then the courses are there of computer science which you need to. DBMS is there, Java, all the other courses which are not mentioned but are part of the degree of regular computer science. These are the specific courses separate from the regular courses that you're going to study in this particular program. And if I talk about creativity, there comes a course which is design thinking. So if I talk about what are the skills needed for someone to be in big data, all those skills are covered in the curriculum in a proper manner. So if you see, there are a lot of project-based learnings with classroom blended. It is a lot of project-based, which is going to be there. So you have to create projects. You have to create, I would say, basic development projects, which would get you the idea how things actually work in real time. So that's how you would be up and ready for the industry when the time comes in your third year, that okay, this is what I've done, these are the things which I've already covered, and now I'm ready to go into the industry. And with that, obviously you're getting IBM global certifications, which are marked in the column. So you'll be getting artificial intelligence certifications, you'll be getting certifications accordingly for each and every one. Big data analytics is there, predictive analytics is there. So you'll be getting certification in these areas from IBM, which is again a global certification. Apart from those badges, you will get these certifications and you can use them when it comes to the time, go to the industry and say I am ready for big data. This is what I've done. now what do you have for positions for me? So that's what gives industry the confidence in you. With this, I think so. I would like to invite Mr. Pankaj Vij. He's with us, and he will be talking about the university structure and the fees and all the details and scholarships about this program. Over to you, Pankaj sir.
Sure, Sammy sir, thank you very much. And I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Great, thank you very much. So a great insight into the program by our experts, and the students must have made their mind by now that the program is immensely benefiting program, and they can contemplate upon getting into the program. Anyhow, the superficial aspects of the program, that's my job. I'm going to tell you about the eligibilities, the fee structures, and so on and so forth. And so I go ahead, continuing with the discussion. But before I go ahead, I just want to share with all of you, all the attendees who are present over here, that LPU has just got along with its legacy of creating academic leaders, researchers, intellects, artists, and now we are creating world-class sportsmen as well. The Golden Boy, Neeraj Chopra, Bajrang Punia, the Indian hockey squad, 50% of the Indian hockey squad was made up of LPU students, and overall around 10% of the Indian Olympic squad was made up of LPU students. So the university is doing great when it comes to sports, and we look forward to bringing more laurels to the country and contributing towards sporting infrastructure of the country. On that note, allow me to go ahead. The program, well, I need not go deep into the program as such, but it was beautifully explained by both the experts. But all I understood was that maybe data is noise, and data analysis is something like picking out the music out of that noise. So if you have the work and you are interested in picking up that music out of that noise, well, this is the program to be in. So the name of the program is BTech Computer Science and Engineering, Big Data Analytics, in tie-up with IBM. And well, as everybody knows that any BTech program is a 4-year program comprising of a total of 8 semesters. So this is also a 4-year program comprising of 8 semesters. If I talk about the eligibility criteria, well, students, this will interest you. The eligibility criteria is 60% marks in the 12th standard, and you should have studied non-medical. But physics, maths, and English, I repeat, 60% marks in 10+2 as an aggregate score, with physics, maths, and English would be compulsory subjects, and you have to clear the LPNest exam or JEE mains, either of the two will do. So this is a prerequisite that you have to have 60% marks in aggregate, plus you also have to clear the LPNest exam or the JEE mains. Moving forward, if I talk about the fee structures and scholarships, well, we at LPU till now have distributed something like 500 crores worth of scholarships till date, and around 60,000 students in the last 7 years have been benefited by our scholarships. 61% of our students are studying on scholarships. So there are immense number of scholarships that we are offering to the students. Talking about the fee structures and the kind of scholarships that we are offering, there are an array of scholarships that we are offering, but the base fee structure of this program is 1,50,000 per semester, but there are a lot of scholarships, and they are as follows. If somebody scores 80 to 89.99% of marks either in 10th or in 12th, or is amongst the cutoff 3 of our LPNest exam, which is Lovely Professional University National Entrance and Scholarship Test, or is having a JEE main score of 85 to 90, then such a student has got 20% scholarship under his belt, and the fee goes down to 1,20,000 per semester. Moving on, if somebody has 90 to 94.99% of marks either in 10th or in 12th, or is amongst the LPNest cutoff 2 of our exam, or is having 90 to 95 percentile in the JEE mains exams, then you have got 25% scholarship, and the fee goes on to 1,12,000 per semester. Moving on, if somebody's got greater than or equal to percentage of marks of 95% in 10th or 12th, or is amongst LPNest cutoff 1 of our exam, or is having JEE mains percentile greater than or equal to 95, then you have got 30% scholarship. Fee goes down to 1,05,000 per semester. My dear students, all the attendees, I would like to share with all of you that this scholarship, once administered to a student, shall remain the same way throughout the duration of the program. That is, for the entire 4 years and 8 semesters, the scholarship will remain same. Your fee will remain same. There is no ways that it will be enhanced or it will be resurrected in any ways. So you get a scholarship and it remains intact throughout the course of the program, even if, God forbid, you are not able to clear one exam in a semester due to ill health or something. You don't worry, your scholarship would be intact. Application process. This is pandemic time, and it's been a lot of pandemic in the previous 1.5 years, but we have beaten this pandemic, black and blue. And all you need to do is sit at the vicinity of your home and you can materialize your admissions. All you need to do is go to admission.lpu.in. The first step, you sign up. There would be a small registration form. You have to fill up that particular form. Then you can proceed for admissions. Thereafter, you can write the LPU Nest exam, and this exam will give you eligibility plus. It will give you scholarship as well. And once you clear this particular exam, once you fill up this exam, then you can book the slot for the exam. Booking the slot for the exam is you apply for the LPU Nest exam, and then you can decide as to when exactly you want to appear for this exam. And on that day, sitting at your home, on your laptops or on your smartphones, you can appear for this multiple choice question exam with no negative marking. So it's an artificial intelligence oriented exam that we would be conducting for you at the vicinity of your home. So it's pretty straightforward, not more than 5 to 7 minutes comprehensively, and your admission is done. But the prerequisites are required. Anybody amongst the attendees, if they have already taken admission but listening to our experts explaining the concept of the program beautifully well, they have thought of changing the program to this particular program that we are talking about, then how to go in for the change of program, these are the steps that I'm going to tell you. You need to go to your admissions dashboard, go to post admission services. On the left hand side, you see a link over here which says program transfer request. You click it. Once you click it, it asks what is the basic qualification, which obviously would be 12th. You click it. Then it'll ask you about your domain, discipline, that will be engineering, and then it'll ask you about the branch that you have already got, and now you want to shift to the other one. Say somebody is into core computer science engineering, you click it, and then you can select the program that you want to move to. For example, over here it will be BTech CSC, BTech Computer Science Engineering, Big Data Analytics in tie-up with IBM. You can select this program, submit your request. The program transfer request will come to us, and within a few days it shall be done. So that's how, if somebody already an existing student wants to move to this program, these are the steps to be followed. This slide, I guess, would be a slide of prime importance to all the attendees. If you want to visit us, please visit us at www.lpu.in. If you want to write to us, please do so at admissions@lpu.co.in. And if you want to speak to us, you can call us at our 1-800 number. That's 1-800-102-4407. So all the students, all attendees can take a screenshot of this slide. I guess that's all from my side. I hope the information was of importance to all the attendees. And back to you, Professor Samiana.
That was
Thank you,
really
sir.
wonderful
Thank you very much.
presentation by all the experts, and it was really insightful. Thank you so much. And now we move on to the queries by the attendees. I can see Abhishek Tiwari, Abhishek Chandan, Aditya, BV, Surendra, Balu, Bridula, everybody. So I request all the attendees to come up with your queries, and please raise your hands through the interface so that I can connect you to the experts, and you can put in your queries in text form also. So there are two options. So we have with us the experts who can take up all your queries. So I'm waiting for you to either raise your hand through the interface so that I can, yeah, we have a Sheikh Sami. So the name is similar, Professor Sami. There's another Sami who needs to talk to you. So I have given you the rights, Sheikh Sami. Please unmute yourself and put up your question. So it's a announcement for Sheikh Sami to please unmute yourself and come up with the question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Stop.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In BTech CSC, how many groups? Big day, another other courses also will be there. All.
Yes. So as you saw on the screen, which Mr. Pankaj was presenting, and the courses that are there available in BTech CSE. So there are multiple different CSE programs also available. So this is one of those programs in which is specific to the big data and analytics fields, and in this we have tied up with IBM. So IBM is the delivery partner for the big data and analytics part of the course, and rest of the course, which is a BTech CSE, will be delivered by IBM.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So we can. So I'm again requesting all the attendees to raise your hand through the interface so that I can connect you for your queries in case you have any. So we have Siddharth, Sayyid, Taman, Vikunt, Kushal, Leena, Dhanush, Dipanshu. So I hope you can see your queries, but for the time being, there are no queries, and I think we have all answered through the presentation given by the experts. So yes, we can take up one query that has come up from Abhishek Kumar Chandan. Abhishek, do you have any query? I saw your hand raised through the interface. I've given you the rights. Please unmute yourself and.
Good morning, sir. Myself Abhishek. Sir,
Yeah,
actually I'm from pharmacy sector. I'm doing B pharmacy.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt that I have taken admission in LPU. As someone means when I've called in LPU, they told that I can get a scholarship on sports certificates and all. I have the certificates, but I haven't got the certificate on got the scholarship on that. I have cleared the LP Nest exam. For that, I got the scholarship under category 1 only.
So the query goes to Mr. Pankaj. Can you help him getting the sports scholarship activated if he has been granted for the same?
Abhishek, if you have, may I just ask you that your sports certificates are how old? Means are they for the previous 2 years? Are they the certificates applicable for the previous 2 years? Were you involved in some competitions in the previous 2 years or before that? May I just ask you?
Sir, some competitions are under this 2 years, and before 2 years there is one state certificate I have on rifle
Okay,
shooting.
Abhishek, please grab hold of a pen and a paper, or you can just take a screenshot of this slide. The email ID is admissions@lpu.co.in. You just need to send your certificates, the sports certificates, to this particular email ID, and you can just drop in a mail. You can write a line over there that these are the sports certificates, and you are interested in applying for the sports scholarship. There is a committee. These certificates will be forwarded to the committee, and the committee will ascertain whether they will what kind of a scholarship can be given to you, or it is not they are not able to give this scholarship on the basis of those things. So the committee will decide, but as of now you can send these certificates on admissions@lpu.co.in. Okay, and you'll get a fair reply in written.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And we move on to the next query coming from Kushal Saharan. Kushal, I have given you the rights. Please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
सर एक नॉर्मल क्वेश्चन है कि जो बीटेक सीएससी नॉर्मल कोर्स है उसमें और टाई अप विद आईबीएम में कितना अंतर होगा सर पढ़ाई में, और साथ में प्लेसमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज के बारे में दोबारा बता सकते हैं अगर हम डाटा साइंस और एनालिटिक्स पे जाएं तो?
Okay, so Kushagar is I have the right name right correctly. So as I told you, I showed you a slide in which there were 16 courses. Those 16 courses are specifically a part of the Big Data and Analytics program with IBM. Those 16 courses will not be a part of a normal regular program in BTech CSE. The only overlap would be a Python program with there's a Python there and Java and database. Those three would be similar out of those 16 courses. Rest all courses are exclusive to this Big Data and Analytics program. Now, when you're studying regular BTech CSE, you will be studying different courses in place of that, which would be related to basic CSE, not to the big data specialization area. You'd be choosing programs or specializations accordingly, and you'll be studying a few, 2 or 3, or just basic level. I would say the beginner level courses of specializations out there. But in this, which is a specialized program, you not only study the courses, you also get certified. So you have certifications, free of cost certification attempts within this program. So when you study, you are equally getting prepared for a global certification in that particular course, and you can attempt that certification free of cost. So that is also there. And if you get certified, you can add it to your resume. When it comes to placements, obviously, the placements that you're opting for is in the big data and analytics area. As Shefali also presented, I also showed you the idea that how much involvement of big data is there in nowadays, and it is going to be there in the next 4 years. So if I talk about the examples which Shefali took about Uber, about the social media, Amazon and all. So all of these are moving towards the analytics part of giving you the right kind of services which you need based on what and how you consume services. And that is only done based on analytics. So the tools would get on evolving, and you will be learning those tools, you will be learning those techniques in this program. And then when you go into the industry, you're ready for that. So placement would be very specific to the big data. Yes, you will be eligible for other placement drives as well. But once you have, mastered an area, or I would say you have gone into an area as a specialization, you would also look placements towards that. So the companies coming in for big data, you would like to go in that field because you have already studied and you are, up to a level into that particular area. So average salary is somewhat between 5 lakhs to starting 5 lakh would be the average salary in big data. It can go as high as 10 to 15 LPA based on your skills and how much intuitivity or creativity you have brought in while learning this program.
So sir, it means course means CSC, normal CSC is much more less than the CSC with tie-up in IBM.
It's not much more less. It's a very vivid course. It covers all of the things, small everything. So you study everything, but you just touch base upon those things. You are not a master in that area. In this particular degree, you get specialization in this area. So in that particular CSC, you will study everything, but you have just studied the basic, the start of it. You would have not gone into any area into a depth. In this, you will go in deep to big data analytics. So that is the difference. It's not that some program is lesser or some program is greater. It's about the depth which you are studying in a particular area. In normal CSE, you are touching base on every of these technologies, and you just get an idea about it, how they work, which technologies are involved, but you do not study those technologies. In this program, you choose to study those technologies.
Adding to it, I'll like to summarize that whenever we study computer science engineering, eventually in the 3rd year and 4th year, we have to choose a path that what you want to be. Because when we talk about IT or engineering, it's huge. Now, as a candidate, in which domain you would like to work? You would like to work as an AI expert, you would like to work as an analyst, you would like to work as a cloud domain expert, software developer, full stack developer. Similarly, in software developer, Java developer, Python developer, .NET, C++. So you will get to know all this when you actually undergo CSC, because you get all the touch base of technology, but it is eventually you who will be deciding what you want to do after that. And based on the projects which you make as a part of CSC, you eventually choose that as a career option for yourself. Second is, when you're choosing a specialized program, from day one, you're firm that this is what you want to do and you want to draw expertise. Our purpose of having this interaction was to tell you about the job demands, the demands which organizations are going to generate from this data, and how much data is going to increase, so that you yourself feel confident that, okay, I'm convinced that in future technology usage will be more. There will be more requirement of people knowing analytics, and it as we told that it is not possible for even 3 or 5 months to be a master in one technology. If you really want to deep dive to call yourself as a master in that technology, you need to inherit, you need to learn it from day one, that is first semester. We need not to wait when you will be in third year and worried about placement, and then you think what should I do to be more industry ready. Because the kind of competition the market will have, and which we foresee after 3 or 4 years, is going to be huge. Company would also want the best headcount to work with them, and they are ready to pay even extra amount because they need not to train you. So if you want to be readily deployable for an organization and you want to directly work with them with a less hours of training, in which they teach you the kind of project they draw and you know already the technology layer, then you can choose and streamline your career path from day one. In BTech CSC, you will still have an option in third year, fourth year, or maybe to decide that what technology is good for you, because eventually you need to do something beyond degree to get a job. Because how to employer you will sell your own skills, that hire me, why not to hire another person? So to be eligible to be interviewed and to be eligible to work in an organization, you need to hold some more practical exposure. And in CSC, you get all the touch base of those technologies which are essential for you to know. But again, you have to choose one path on which you want to work, because IT is so vast. I hope I have not made it more complicated and you understood.
No, thank you, ma'am.
So that was really, really wonderful answers by all the experts. And I think we have taken up all the queries in one way or the other. And it's now time to sign off by saying, during this exclusive webinar on specialized BTech in tie-up with IBM, the attendees heard from Professor Sami Anand and Shefali Datta as on how to have a successful career in this field. Experts, your years of research and depth of understanding the topic made this presentation a very wonderful one. On behalf of all the attendees of this webinar, I want to thank you for your insightful presentation. Hopefully, the attendees also found this webinar to be valuable and will be able to utilize the information provided in this webinar to take a better decision regarding your admissions. I'm obliged and once again thankful to Professor Sami Anand, Mr. Pankaj Vij, and Ms. Shefali Datta for strengthening this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Rishi.
Sure.